in Louisiana, part of the administrative of the state, and like a lot of people who have come to Walls to work or to visit, fall in love with the city, as you see. And this page has every wall is this one. This is not. But it's my understanding that that's what you do.
Nicholas Cage.
Oh, also, as I say, reminded today, because with this cold front coming through, which will be waiting until this evening, it is going to be windy all day long. And it's on windy days such as today, hats go flying off of people's heads and off the bus. If that happens, we can stop the bus, let you run after the hat. The bus has to keep going. You'll get your hat back, but we'll never see you again. So keep that in mind. If you have a hat on and you really want to keep it, you better hold on to it, because chances are someone's going to lose a hat before the end of the day. Oh, you got an LSU hat. Yeah, you don't want to lose that. So now we're on Canal Street. I mentioned, among other things to notice, is our street names. And Canal Street, which is Main Street, New Orleans, is named in reference to a canal that was actually never built. There were plans for the canal here. Did not happen. Late 1790s, New Orleans was under Spanish rule at that time. And the Spanish had dedicated space for a proposed canal along with the roadway, property lines drawn up on that roadway. Put in place on paper, plan designated, but never carried through. The canal itself was never built. But the land remained as it does this day. And that's why Canal Street is as wide as it is, being 171 feet across the sidewalk. Canal Street was originally just the edge of town. The original city of New Orleans is today's French Quarter, and occupied by the original citizens of New Orleans, known as the Creoles, who were French-speaking and Catholic. But after Louisiana Purchase of 1803, by the thousands, Americans started to arrive here in New Orleans from faraway places like Boston and Philadelphia. Americans spoke English. They were Protestant in faith. And there was immediately, after Louisiana Purchase, a cultural conflict between the French-speaking Catholic Creoles and the new arrived English-speaking Protestant Americans, so much so the Americans refused to live in the French Quarter, which is now instead settled across Canal Street to the right, which is then American settlement. And but it's been a conflict between the Creoles. Americans still exist to this day, with the fact that all streets change the names as they cross Canal Street. Street names that exist in the original part of the city, such as coming up here on the left is Dauphine Street. So the Americans chose to have their own set of street names on their side of Canal Street, being Maroon Street. You're right. That tradition continued as Canal Street expanded towards Lake Pontchartrain, the other body of water on the other side of the city, away from the river, which is behind us. The river is in front of us, but Lake Pontchartrain is behind us. Those streets names going from north to south. It is important to know that every single street crossing Canal Street, our main street of the city, will change its name. Now, back to the subject of retail. Well, first of all, I should know, getting back to the earliest days of the city of New Orleans, Canal Street being the edge of town, and there was no development during the colonial period. It did not occur until Louisiana Purchase of 1803, the big development. That early development then was residential. Canal Street. What's that? Canal Street was originally residential. There was originally nothing on Canal Street other than houses and churches. It was the decade of the 1870s it switched to retail, as it is still to this day, with the heyday of retail shopping here on Canal Street, the time between the 1890s and the 1970s. There's Burger Street, which to the left, by the way. That's empty, but it's still early in the day. Anyway, with the retail shopping here, at one time Canal Street was the finest shopping district in the South. And there was fine shopping along Canal Street for items such as jewelry and furs, many men's and ladies' clothing stores, mid-price retailers as well, along with five and dime stores. Some were local to New Orleans, others were national chains. Besides all the retail stores that line Canal Street, there were lots of restaurants, drugstores, hotels, and this was all an activity in the city of New Orleans. It was the suburban mall to put a hit to the shopping along Canal Street and do what suburban malls are doing today. Since hotels have always played a major role in Canal Street at the time, name the two tallest hotels in the city of New Orleans are in Canal Street, and they face each other. Coming up here on the left is the Marriott Hotel in 1892. On the right, St. Louis, the up there, high-rise hotel at 48 stories tall, making it the third largest hotel in the city and the tallest hotel in the city as well. Does anybody want to stop? Our next stop, number 6. This is Canal Street, Bourbon Street, French Quarter to your left. Anybody from Canal Street, Mr. Hotel, show me his please. Alright, Dimitri, I need to give you a magic number. We should be in good shape. Let's say 16. Should have plenty of room here. I did want to point out, it was a few blocks back, but where the Ritz-Carlton Hotel stood at Canal Street, if you know where that fine hotel is, that building was built in 1909, and it was home of was the finest locally based department store in Walls. It was known as Maison Blanche. Anything and everything in the home you purchase at a great department store. As great as it was, unfortunately, they went out of business in the 1990s. So, hi, come on up. Plenty of seats in the front. In the front. So in the front on the left. You'll be in